Hats. Hats are one of the biggest parts of Roblox. After all, they allow us to customize our characters the way we want to. And without them, we'd probably all look the same. Of course, what customization we have beyond t-shirts and pants. Now, if you've been on Roblox for a while, you probably know there are some hats that have special effects or do other things. Like for instance, some hats release sparkles or release fire. But what if I told you that there are actually a few hats that make sounds when put in game? Yes, they make sounds. Now this may be something that's fairly known to you if you've been on Roblox for a while, but a lot of new players do not know this. So for all of the thousands of hats on Roblox, there are only a few that possess the unique property of making sounds. So for this video, we are going to be exploring the hats on Roblox that make sounds. Unlike this hat here, the Holiday Crown, which most definitely does not make sounds. The first hat on our list is Telemon's Chicken Suit, better known as Telemon's Chicken Suit Hat. Now this item was released in March of 2010 and is currently limited, so it's sellable. Now this item is sitting around 15,512 recent average price at the time of making this video. I'd say it's probably worth around 20,000 Robux in value. So if you want this hat, you're going to have to fork out around 20,000 Robux in limited value to get it. Now this item is pretty unique because it was the first of the sound making hats and is also the first chicken suit hat. If you don't know, there are several chicken suit hats released by Roblox around 2013 forward, I believe. There is at least 12 of them, which is pretty overboard if you ask me. Anyway, this item makes a variety of chicken noises when put in game. And it currently has several hundred owners, so it's not the most rare hat. I do not know the exact number, I'm not going to go through and count, but it is definitely several hundred. When worn in game, Telemon's Chicken Suit Hat will give off several different chicken noises, which can actually be seen server-wide, meaning that they can be heard by basically everyone on the server, which can get annoying, but it's quite cool. So I am going to stop talking for a second so you can all listen to the chicken noises. If you couldn't hear the chicken noises, my advice is to turn your volume up slightly high and you'll be able to hear them. The next hat on our list is Bright Eyes' Bloxy Cola Hat, also released in March of 2010 along with Telemon's Chicken Suit Hat. Now Bright Eyes' Bloxy Cola Hat is kind of cool because it's a kind of generic 80s, 90s cola hat. If you don't know, the cola hats were sort of popular in the 80s and 90s, kind of a one-time fad. I'll post a picture of one right now. Anyway, Bright Eyes' Bloxy Cola Hat was also made limited, and is currently, at the time of making this video, sitting at 9,144 recent average price. I'd personally value it around 14,000 Robux in value. So again, you're going to need a little bit in order to get this. That may be a lot to you, or it may not. Anyway, this item is also sitting with around a couple hundred owners. So it is again not the rarest hat, but it is of course expensive for what it does. When placed in game, the Bloxy Cola Hat will make several burping and slurping noises in a kind of grotesque fashion. Just like the Telemon's Chicken Suit Hat, there are also extremely loud sounds that can basically be heard all throughout the server. I wouldn't say it's as annoying as the chicken sit hat, but it's up there. Now once again, you can probably hear the sounds over my voice, but I'm going to go silent for a second so you can listen to the noises of burping. The next hat on our list is the Transient Harmonica. Now this item also dates back to 2010, but was released several months after the previous two in August. And unlike the previous two, this is not a limited hat, it is a limited U hat, meaning it was released with limited quantities instead of later going limited. Now this hat is currently sitting at 36,795 Robux in value in recent average price. I'd probably value it around 40,000 recent average price to around 45,000 recent average price. Now the weird thing about this hat is it used to only sit around 10,000 recent average price, valued around the same. It wasn't really worth much. But in the past couple of months, it has just sprung ahead. Now as you can see, if you look where my mouse is at the bottom of the screen, you can see it was selling around 20,000 here, 15,000, sort of low. But then up in recent months, it just sprung up to the 40,000s, like crazy. It most recently sold for 66,000 Robux. I don't really know why this item is raised so much. I take it probably because of hoarding. But anyway, this item also makes sounds in-game and is probably the most annoying of the previous three. Now before we go ahead to the in-game footage, you'll see this item has 1,115 sold. It is probably one of the least rare of the sound making hats. So I would say that I don't think it really deserves the extremely high price, but you have items like the classic fedora, which have 10,000s of owners being valued more than this. Anyway, before we begin, I want to note that this is actually a reference to sort of mid-50s, 60s harmonica folk singers such as Bob Dylan and so on, which is sort of cool to note. When worn in game, the harmonica makes several different harmonica musical note tracks. Now the interesting thing about this hat, compared to the last two, is I'd say it's probably the most annoying out of the three discussed so far. It is ear-piercingly loud. Basically anyone on the server, no matter where they are in the game, can hear this thing. It is so obnoxiously loud. I absolutely despise people who wear this thing in game. Anyway, I've actually had to mute my desktop audio because I cannot talk over this thing. It is so ear-piercingly loud. It's probably not going to be as loud for you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and mute myself so you can hear it. The last hat on our list is Bright Eyes' Witch's Brew Hat, which is a retexture of the Bright Eyes' Bloxy Cola hat. Now the interesting thing about this hat was the date it was made. October 16th, 2015. It actually came out of a Halloween gift, which if you go up here, you can see it right here. This is the Halloween gift it came out of. I believe it was around 700 Robux, so not that expensive. It also has a couple thousand owners, I believe like 2,000 something. But again, back to the date, this came out 5 years after the last sound making hat came out. So it seemed for a while that Roblox was done with sound making hats, but then they came out with this thing. When worn in game, the witch's brew hat will make several loud witch noises, and I mean loud. I think that the harmonica is really annoying, but I hadn't seen anything until this thing came out. This is definitely the loudest of the noise-making hats and the most annoying. It also makes sound way too often. Definitely the most frequent. Now again, I've had to mute my sound for this one because it's just so obnoxious. Now the difference between this one and the last three is I actually own this hat, so I could go in game and annoy people with this if I wanted to. And trust me, when wearing this thing in game, you get a lot of people hating on you and telling you to shut off the sound because it is just that annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself again for the last time and let you hear this thing's obnoxious screeching. That about does it for the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content like this. Post in the comments what you'd like to see me do next. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Thank you.